But listen, I'm gonna tell you one of the things that was the best upgrade was this small kitchen had a ceiling fan in it. It had a ceiling fan. This is a story about a girl who dreamed of one day owning a vintage bungalow. So she bought one. And with a little imagination and some good old DIY sweat equity, she transformed it into a dream home. This is DIY Redesign. Welcome to DIY Redesign, my journey to updating my 100-year-old bungalow with some good old DIY sweat equity. It's your girl, Denise Joy. If you are new to my channel, hey, hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss a single episode. And hit the notification bell. You want to be alerted when the good stuff drops. When I first walked into the house and I saw the kitchen, obviously it's serviceable, right? It's functional. It had all the things that you need, but it didn't have the kind of aesthetic that I wanted. When it came time for me to select a contractor to work with, I decided to go ahead and work with the contractor that I used to completely remodel my second home purchase, my condo in the U Street area. He ticked all the boxes. He had the licensing, the credentials, good relationships with quality subcontractors. Quality, that's the key word. And one of my favorite things was they were really, really clean. They were always cleaning up after themselves. And lastly, he respected that he knew I was going to do some of the DIY. Gotta love that. I love to show love to myself by cooking great meals. In fact, I call my meals repeatable eatables. That means they so good, I don't mind having leftovers. So the kitchen in this 100-year-old bungalow, she needed some immediate attention. Coming into a space that you have given a lot of attention to, it communicates this reciprocal energy back to you. It sends this energy of self-worth and care and love, abundance. So I encourage anyone watching to do small things to up-level, elevate your space. You will not regret it. What is a bungalow? A bungalow is a style of house or cottage that has a single story, and it may have a partial second story, and it has a sloped roof. And this house was built at the very end of the period where the bungalow's home style was all the craze, roughly between 1903 and 1930. 1925 bungalow has some quirky characteristics. Where my refrigerator is currently, back in the day, that used to be where an icebox sat. So in the beginning, most of what I could do was get that cutout space between the kitchen and the dining room so that I could breathe and open that space up, because before opening up that pass-through between the dining room and the kitchen, it was claustrophobic in the kitchen. Full stop. Renovating the kitchen took me roughly about 7 weeks, but I was doing both the kitchen and the bathroom at the same time. So I had to come up with the design plan, hire the contractor, and I project managed. So I had to make sure that all of the subs were doing what they needed to do when they showed up. Lot of work on this, y'all. My kitchen is on the smaller side, but it is just enough for me. I couldn't change the footprint. I did not have the budget to do that, to expand it. And actually, now that I've lived with it, I don't want to expand it. But what I did have to have was a much better aesthetic. So I got a new sink. I had selected new granite countertops, had those installed. I selected a subway tile as the backsplash, got new appliances. Luckily, the refrigerator was really in great shape. It was relatively new, just a couple of years old. For some of the decisions, honestly, y'all, I was conflicted. I initially picked out a penny tile for the backsplash, and then I went with a more classic subway tile. I had already purchased some bronze drawer handles and drawer pulls, but then I went with a burnished bronze because I'd already selected a Delta faucet fixture that was in that dark, gorgeous dark black color. So I had tons of decisions. That always brings conflict. The most challenging part of this kitchen renovation was the dust. I do have an upstairs area, and I slept upstairs, and I sealed the bottom of the door with towels so that that dust wouldn't creep up there, because that dust, honey, you gotta wear a mask. I really struggled between making choices this time around because I was making tons, really hundreds of choices because I was doing the inside and the out all at the same time. And originally I wanted to do darker lower cabinets and lighter upper cabinets, but I was running out of money and I was running out of steam. So I ended up picking a paint color that I wasn't absolutely in love with, but it was doable. And I just painted the upper and lower cabinets all one color. This small kitchen had a ceiling fan in it. It had a ceiling fan. Oh my gosh, it was really dirty. I had to get that out first. The first iteration of the kitchen was definitely a placeholder for me. I knew that I had this whole different vision, but I still enjoyed the upgrade to the space. But in my heart, I knew the vibe that I wanted, the aesthetic that I wanted in this kitchen. I knew I wanted that dark lower cabinet contrast with the lighter upper cabinet. So in a couple of years, that's what I did. This journey of updating this 100-year-old bungalow has taught me to trust myself, to trust my gut, to trust my instincts, to be able to collaborate with another creative, the contractor, who is also bringing their creativity to the endeavor. But ultimately, it's my project. Remember, functionality, aesthetic, and budget. You always want to make sure that the room, number one, is going to work how you need it to work. Functionality. Aesthetic, how the room is going to make you feel. That's going to inform all of the different choices you're going to make, colors, patterns. Then the budget, how much money you going to spend. Initially, I had more money put towards the kitchen, but remember, I was doing the bathroom remodel and DIY at the same time, and I ended up choosing to put a glass shower enclosure in the bathroom, which I had not done at first, so I took some of the money away from the kitchen, but then I was able to swing back around and make that upgrade later. One of the things that I really strongly believe in is repurposing items. So for quite a few of the decor pieces in this kitchen, I shopped it at the thrift store, repurposed artwork mostly. That's where you see the biggest footprint of thrifted items in this kitchen. You're gonna love this part because this is the reveal. Actually, the best feature of this kitchen when I came into the house, it has an absolutely perfect prep triangle. That's the distance you have to travel between your refrigerator, your stove, and your sink. Mine's pretty perfect. It might be small, but that prep triangle is perfect. Yes. Oh, she did that. Oh, come on, cabinets. Come on, counter. All right. I know that's what you're saying. I know. Drop your comments. What was difficult? Well, whenever you do renovation, remodel, or DIY, whatever you're doing is always going to take 2 or even 3 times longer than you would prefer. You just got to kind of get over that. What is something that you love? The kitchen might be small, but listen, it's got big personality, big style, and it certainly has that touch of class. If you enjoy HGTV style shows, be sure to check out my show, DIY Duo Redesign, here on my channel. It's full of custom on a budget wow factor. The link to the show is in the description box below. Bottom line, do you, boo? And if you saw something in here that inspired you, hey, take it, do it your own way. Make sure that you always pursue your home redesign dreams. Now stay tuned for episode 4.